Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. I'm Francis McCarthy, and the video I'm bringing you today is called Autumn Umber Study. I forgot I had the word autumn in there, but why not identify it? It's Autumn Umber Study Plus. So here's the deal with this particular painting. Back when I was doing the what the heck? That's a mess up. Looks like I'm missing some stuff. Yeah, it's okay. My drawing. Back when I was doing the solo pigment series, I think this might have been the second video I did. It was supposed to be raw umber, and I had this kind of clever idea. It's like, oh, I have white, black, and umber. I thought I'll just use the white and black in the sky and get warm against the cool. And I ended up I liked the painting okay, but I thought for the purposes of the solo pigment series that it wasn't showing the umber off very well, so this is one I just put aside. Also, I thought, well, I really see doing a glaze or something on that, so around the 9-minute mark you'll see me rubbing on the picture, and suddenly it'll get a lot more yellow. And the colors I brought into play there. So what we're looking at right now is just umber. At this point, it would have been ivory black and white, titanium white. And you can see me going in with that cool gray and thinking I'm very clever. Yeah, but I ended up not liking it for the purposes of that project. And that's one thing, and maybe you can get a little insight here as an artist. I had a career as a commercial illustrator for 13 years, and I learned a lot there. Some of the main stuff I learned there was to work in an expeditious manner, because you don't have all day. Also, I've always strived for quality, but it's important to strive for quality when you're a professional, because without quality, you're not going to sell. People aren't going to buy the art unless it's cool. And the art usually was put on like T-shirts or mugs or all sorts of different merchandise. But mostly my illustrations would be used. I was working with a designer, so he'd create like a little frame with some type, and then we'd plug in my illustration, or I'd create an illustration and he'd create a design to go with it. And did that for a long time. But one thing that I learned there is that you always have deadlines, but there was quite a lot of times. See, I'm getting to my point. Don't bail yet. You could learn something here. Just be patient, young Padawan. One thing I definitely learned was there were times when we had big deadline pressures. We've been working on an idea or concept for days, and maybe we only had a day left or something. But quite often, not all the time, but there were many times when a better idea would come along, and we just throw out all the work we did, and we went with the better idea. Or maybe we were close to done, but we thought of some excellent ways to improve upon what we were doing, and we would do it even if it meant losing work that was already done. And I think that's very valuable. What I got from that was, and of course that was guidance from the guy I was working from, and he knew his job, he knew what he was doing. And that was the right call. It was the right thing to do. So as far as how could you apply this to your painting practice, well, let's just say you've got all this time invested in the painting, but you have a better idea, or you think, oh, this isn't really what I should be doing. If you're too far along, it might be great to just, like as in the case of this painting, I just says, well, heck with it, I'll just put this aside and I'll do another painting featuring raw umber. So I set something up and I did that. I could have made another call, like I'll just glaze it with raw umber and that will settle it, but that wouldn't have been in keeping with everything else in the series, so that wasn't going to work. But my point is basically, always be willing to bail, always be willing to change, always be willing to sacrifice something that's not working. It doesn't matter how much time you put into it, because no one really cares. You might find as an artist, professional or otherwise, and if otherwise, I'm sure if you're any good, at some point you'll be selling work, and so you'll become a professional. The number one question you always get asked is, how long did this take? And I think the best answer for that is always 2 weeks. By the way, that's what I've arrived at. If it took you 2 hours, if it took you 2 days, it doesn't really matter. People are generally satisfied with that answer. They're just curious, you know. If you say 2 hours, you run the risk, and I saw this too in my illustration career. I never did this, but many times the designer I was working for and with in meetings would proudly say how he did something in 10 minutes, and only to be kicked under the table by the salesperson that was with us, and me giving them dirty looks too, because I have enough sense to know that's, you're asking people to pay for this. You don't want to tell me you did it in 10 minutes. And you guys, I don't do paintings in 10 minutes. I do paintings in the amount of time that's allotted. But however much time I have invested, I'm always willing, or however cool, or attached to the thing that was in the piece of art that I was working on. And if you've been watching my live videos, and by the way, this is going to be up in the live video area, the members area, where you can listen to me burble on as we're painting. There's many times where you say, well, that's a really, you'll hear me, there's a really cool passage, nice brush fracture, nice flare, but it's not appropriate in the context of the entire painting. So I sacrifice it, or I smooth it out, or I do whatever I need to do to make the painting itself better. That's what I'm all about. Yeah. So I'm happy to pass that tip along to you, and this painting is a byproduct of that. So this is the other day. This sat around for about 3 months, I guess. I didn't photograph it when I photographed the rest of the solo pigment series, because I'm thinking glaze, and you'll see how this is nice. You see how the glaze kind of really transforms it. And then when I glaze, I don't usually just leave it with a glaze. I pump it up with some other stuff, and we'll be having a look at that too, especially if you've made it to 7-minute mark. I notice a lot of you tend to bail early, but hey, you're busy. You got that issue of comic book daily that you want to read, or you want to watch an episode of Columbo, or Mannix. You younger people in the audience will have no clue what I'm talking about. Old television shows, that aren't cool. How about that? Oh, you can see my little landscape painter thing go flying by. Anyway, this is the last video of 2020. It is my 12/31 today. It is a Thursday, and yeah, I just thought it'd be good. This was a loose end. You see me putting that glaze on. Already better, right? Already better. Everything now is tying together. Yeah. And then I broke out some cad yellow, and I broke out some of course the cad yellow I'm knocking in a little bit of that raw umber, but just giving it some pop, a little bit of orange, a little bit of this and that and the other thing. Then I decided in the trees in the ground area to bring in some burnt sienna, and just subtle differences, really trying to keep what was cool there, and just make a lot of nice little painting. I have been doing quite a few 5x7s lately. Just mostly because the holidays time's a bit fractured, and I was over them for a while, but I just recently got a big bunch of boards. And what I like about 5x7s, I'm always stressing this in the live videos too, is like, you're looking at your time, you go, I ain't got no time to paint today. I know, I'll just play video games. Don't do that. Get yourself some 5x7 boards or canvases, have them sitting there, have a folder of reference images that you're thinking would be cool little paintings, and spend 2 hours making a little painting. And then there's a lot of times I might do, like as in the case of this, I came back and I did more to it later, and that's always an option too, you know. And it's a low commitment, low threshold, and also an affordable little painting for people that like your work. I sell a lot of 5x7s. Just sold one to a lovely, my youngest patron ever at 11 years old the other day, so that was pretty awesome. And you know, she got an affordable painting. She's collecting art now. You know, it's all good. Anyway, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for being with me this year. I've been trying to, apparently the on my channel you can only see videos for the last year. It looks like it was about, this will make an even 150, so that's pretty good, pretty good. I'm trying to dig up and find a way to create a playlist that's completely inclusive of all videos on the channel. So until I come back with another video in the new year, please, I hope you have a really good one. Thank you so much for your support, and until I see you again in the new year, take good care, and please stay out of trouble.